So the evaluation for step 4. My event was called Community Urban Growing, and the biggest learning that I had was that within a set time frame, we are able to move and act whilst collaboratively drawing out the resources that we have between us, that we have within us already. So it was a really important reminder that within a specific time frame, I'm able to quickly and collaboratively carry out an action. When we're doing a lot of community and collaborative work, we can get stuck sometimes in, whilst we're organising, considering all the different voices, needs and processes of the people that really need to be heard. And whilst this is obviously vital and a really necessary step and part of the process, it's important to also have the element of action and movement in there as well. So what this task did, it showed me the balancing that's needed between the listening, the deep listening, and the kind of ongoing work of listening and consciously bringing those people in that need to be heard into the centre so that their perspective gets visibilised. But also at the same time bringing in the need for mobilisation, the need for action. And how you can have these two elements at the same time. So helpful for me in this was that deadline. I was able to see, wow, within a few days I can get this together, because I've done that back work before of that listening. It was able to come together because those foundations were already in place. And so to create this space, how did I do it? I galvanized across all the different communities that I work with. So these are faith-based communities, the local community that live in that area on the housing estate. Housing estate, just so you know, is social housing, state provider for housing. So it's low-income communities, just so I got that clear. So the local community on the housing estate, youth and arts communities, and also the yoga communities that I work with too. So I spanned and involved this cross-section of people from these different strands. And we co-created together a space where these different people felt safe enough to be able to step up. So I learned here that what's needed, and it's what I learned, I've known this, but it was a reaffirmation of the fact that people need to feel safe for their ideas for them to vocalize or express their ideas. And what did happen in this space was that people felt that. People fed in what they wanted to do. People fed in their ideas for the future, how they dream their city to look like. So it showed me that within that space, that happens, that is possible. People step up and can participate. So another lesson within this space, a beautiful lesson within this space, without the time and external resources that would normally go into planning an action like this. The most recent event that I planned, I spent 3 months planning. So I'm used to a long lead-up time. This didn't have a long lead-up time. But what was incredible was to see that, as I said, without the time and external resources, the innate resources within us and within the community and with all the people that I was working with and included, their innate resources could be drawn out from ideas, people's ideas, visions, practical skills, networks. And then we realise that within each of us, we've got all these threads that can come together to make a whole. For example, so one of the women that came to the event, she was instrumental actually. She comes to my yoga classes, so she lives on the estate, and she has a plot of land in the local community garden. So we went on a walking trail towards her garden, and she showed us how she grows her vegetables, what she does. She told the other group, the people in the group, that they can plant with her whenever they want. And she just also demonstrated that this green space exists, you know, in this concrete jungle, this green space exists. So had this event not happened, she wouldn't have necessarily been able to display her knowledge to others in that way. So it gave her a platform to express and demonstrate her skills and her passions, which then could include other people. So that's one example. So from a growing community background, this woman. Another example is a man came called Amit. Amit is a spiritual leader. He leads in mosques. It's called an Inclusive Mosque Initiative in London. And he's really incredible. And he came along and he led so when we were in Emma's garden in the allotment, we were planting radishes. Everybody's planting radishes. And he said, oh, I could sing the opening prayer of the Quran. And it was amazing, you know, it was a really mixed faith group of people. And he started singing the opening prayer of the Quran. So that was really beautiful in including the spiritual element, you know. Again, making it even more holistic, bringing people's spirituality into the event too. Acknowledging that we're whole beings, you know. We want to grow food. We're also spiritual. We want to come together. It's like all the different levels of us, bringing it all in, bringing all of everybody in. So that was drawing out his skills, resources and talents as well as the spiritual leader. So he could then feel like it was he was a part of it too. He had something beautiful to offer that maybe not everyone else could offer. Also, after he led the prayer, he said the Lord's Prayer. So again, including a different spiritual strand into the mix. And this just demonstrated, I mean, again, it reaffirmed my knowledge that we are each other's resources, and each person can bring their own unique blueprint, unique gift, which then can make this incredible whole, you know, of one. And then that one can move, can do. So the final point really is that what I was doing with this event and what it did was it fused this community which comes from many different backgrounds. So it was different races, ages, faiths, sexualities and genders, to create an organic connection space. You know, it was an eco-intervention working with the environment, but really it was a connection space between people. A connection space between people and the earth, you know, it's all one. And within this connection space, it made room for each person to contribute. Everybody offered ideas and everybody felt excited that they could be part of this and that we can do this together. That's what made it special. And everybody afterwards kept saying, so what's happening next? What are we going to do next? You know, can we do it again? So I realized that all it needs is that first step for us to initiate the platform or the space to create that melting pot of people and ideas, and then magic can happen. Then the ideas can grow. So yeah, that's what I learnt. It's what I knew, but it gave me more power in my beliefs, and it also just demonstrated my ability to make that happen. You know, I can bring people together in that way, and then from there, the ideas, and this is the trust in the unknown, you know, we take the first initial step into creating the space where these different people can unite. We hold the space that they feel like they can participate, and then we see where the ideas go. So to finish, to conclude, it's about creating these spaces of connection to bring the resources within us together. Thank you.